Thank you for joining us today at Miniature Wargaming Labs. Today we'll be painting our Eastern Contractor squad models from Killwager. This was, you can still buy this from Enemy Spotted Studios. I got this on the Kickstarter, but I'm going to paint the leader. And the paint scheme I've picked, we won't do the bases, we'll just do the main model. Basically it's technique how to paint these guys, the whole squad in one day, using some basic colors and trying to keep it all to the same paint range. So in case this model, what I used was I primed a Mechanicus standard gray. I used Army Painter's Venom Wyrm, matte black, matte white, filthy cape, and Gorgon hide, and then I used P3's Ryan Flesh, but any flesh color will do. Then I used some Citadel, so Games Workshop technical paints. Used Stirland Mud, Nuln Oil as a wash, and Reikland Fleshshade as a wash. So let's go ahead and get started painting this guy. To start, I primed the model standard Mechanicus gray. Now I'm going to use some Army Painter Venom Wyrm. I'm just going to take a brush that I've beat up. I've got my palette here. We're just going to slop this on. So we can be messy at this point. I'm just pretty much doing his uniform here, not the gloves. Next we're going to use some Army Painter matte black. That's pretty simple here. We'll do his boots. He has some knee pads here. Get that in black. Gonna do the rifle and gloves. We're just gonna hit the hands like that. We'll pick out the skin tone later. Definitely going to do the helmet, goggles, and baklava. Black. And the vest and all the little body armor and pouches here. One thing I'm going to do is, there's like a little hood back here. I'm going to leave that green so it looks like his vest. You can paint it back black, but I want to make it look like his vest sits on top of his field jacket. You know, create a little bit of variety to the model. Now we're going to texture the base. I like to use some Stirland Mud, the little Elmer's or PVA glue. Some sand will work just fine. I like this as a way to control the grit. And so this is the GW site, they call this a brush, but it's just a plastic applicator. So we'll push this around. The edge of an X-Acto blade works just as well. Careful not to get it too much on the shoes. This Stirland Mud does stain. Now I timed this up so that I would be going to bed soon, and that's why I'm doing, I missed this little spot there. Okay, so he's got little straps, so I want a little bit of green coming through, but I miss a little spot on the knee pad. But I'm going to take some Nuln Oil. Since I've got to wait for that Stirland Mud to dry, might as well time out my paint job. kind of wash the Wyrm green. I like what the Nuln Oil does to it. Darkens it down. It gives it that look I've seen of Russian uniforms, some Russian uniforms on Google Images. I just rub it all around just in case I've missed some spots. The black too. Behind there. Alright, so we'll go let that dry overnight, and I'll come back to this guy and the rest of the squad, which is off camera, and we'll finish them up. Now we're going to take some Army Painter Filthy Cape and a dry brush. I'm going to show you how I'm going to do this. I'm going to take a piece of paper towel here. Going to get some of the Filthy Cape. I'm going to brush it until it looks like there's no more paint coming off. And then I'm just going to go around the model like this. Now I'll cut one way, then I'll cut the other way. And then we'll just lump as much of that gray on there as we feel is good. Now I'm going to use some P3 Ryan Flesh. I've got some of the Army Painter ones, but I wanted something really pale. And I like how the Ryan Flesh looks. So, get the cap off here. Alright, so I'm going to use my smallest brush here. That's because I am going to just take a little swipe in the eye holes there. Alright, then once we get the face done, got the forearms there. See, I'm going to do it as if he's got cut off fingers on the gloves. And little holes cut out in the back of the gloves there. Work slowly and carefully. Next we're going to use some Reikland Fleshshade. Give that a good shake there. And we're going to take our small layer brush, the teeny tiny one we just used, and we're just going to put a little layer over the skin, not too much, like that. Just tint it up a little bit. Okay. Once went behind the arm there. Right, cleaning off the whipping. Next we're going to take some Army Painter Gorgon hide. This is white with like a hint of blue. I'm going to get my small brush here, and we're going to do the lens and the goggles here. So we just run it and hug the edge of the lens. Now we're almost done with our figure here, but I want to go back to the Venom green. I'm just going to take my little brush here, and I'm going to turn my little guy facing towards me, and I'm just going to look for some of the folds in the clothes that would be facing up towards the sun. Oh, too much paint on that one. And we're just going to trace them out. Don't want too much. Let's see what that does. Here, I might got too much. Wipe a little bit off. Well, it's still wet. The top part of the folds here. The idea here, since we've washed a lot of the green down with the Nuln Oil, it darkened it. We don't have to do this step, but it gives just a touch of contrast. And we could also use lighter shades of green here. See now on the back, like this leg, I wouldn't put as much, but like this leg, it's sticking out a little bit more. I'll put some down on. Because that's the thing with like ultra moderns, when you get a lot of the matching camos, how to make your guys look different from all the other guys wearing green camo. So we just play around with the hints of color. There we go. Now to finish this guy up, I'm going to get some matte white. You notice we've got a lot of black here. We also have this lens with a little bit of contrast in here. So I'm going to just take my brush, and we used white with a hint of blue in it. So what we're going to do is just put a more pure white over it. Kind of contrast with it and make it look like it's reflective. Well, it comes out whiter. Might have washed it with the blue, then put the white over. I don't know. But you know what? I mean, these guys will stand out on the table. I'm like, oh, those are the guys with the really white goggles. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the weapon system, and I'm going to pick like 3 spots on the side. I'm going to make like little triangle points. And then we'll streak down the barrel. Let's get that a little bit closer because we're trying to see something tiny here. Just a hint of extra white. And let's also do the other side here. Alright, and got like a little, for anything else like a pistol or something. Seems to be an extra. Anything that's a metal, so we want fabric, won't reflect light. The same way metal will. So there we go. I'm going to call that guy done. And then you can base it as you want. Using the other guides, I normally do an urban base, so I'll use ash gray. Otherwise, we're good to go here. Alright, well, thank you for joining us at Miniature Wargaming Labs, and we'll see you next time.